Merry Christmas, you sons of bitches! I'm still nice and lazy in my nice comfy robe. I am well into my holiday viewing, and I thought maybe I would give you guys a few recommendations for when you get through, you know, you're already done with your Christmas vacations and your Home Alones and your Grinch. There's a few movies that I don't hear talked about enough. All right, maybe one or two of them, plenty. But I have five movies for you that I think you should be watching with your family, with your friends, on this magical, magical holiday. Krampus! I just watched this again. Still fucking love this movie. Um, I hear about it in the horror community, but not so much in the general moviegoer population, and it needs to be seen by more and more people. So check out Krampus. I actually just watched this with my roommate and his kids, and I was trying to gauge the room. I think they really liked it. He told me he liked it, and I was watching the kids' reactions, and they seemed a little creeped out, but not too creeped out. So, and it's PG-13, in case you're worried. But fucking Krampus is great. It's from the man who brought us Trick or Treat, which is a little more adult, but also awesome. Next up, and these are in no real particular order, Trapped in Paradise. This is a movie I never hear anybody talk about, even with how much love Nicolas Cage gets all the time. Trapped in Paradise is not really talked about, and I gotta say, this is Cage at his cagiest. And next to him, we have Dana Carvey and John Lovitz, who are also phenomenally funny in this movie. Yes, it does have a little bit of the mushy gushy heart near the end, but the rest of the movie is just madcap hilarity. Um, Check this one out if you have not, and if you, especially if you're a Nicolas Cage fan. I mean, that's one of the best. Next, we have another crime on Christmas movie. I didn't plan that, but Trapped in Paradise and also The Ref with Dennis Leary. I'm not a huge fan of Dennis Leary, but this is one of my favorite Christmas movies. It's very funny. You'll have to ignore the fact that Kevin Spacey is in this now, unfortunately, because we used to love him, and now we know things that we didn't want to know. But the ref, he breaks in, the family's falling apart, and who knew the burglar had the answers to all of life's woes and helps bring the family back together. But a very, very funny movie. Judy Davis as well. Check out the ref. I found this cool demo tape too. At like a Goodwill, back from the old video stores. Had to grab that. All right. Next we have one I revisited yesterday. This one is talked about as well in the horror community quite a bit. And strangely enough, this is a movie that I thought was overlooked. But this year, every horror movie podcast is covering it. So it must just be that time. Maybe because that remake came out last year that really... Wait, that was this year, wasn't it? Was that this year? It was pretty close. The original Black Christmas from 1974. I rewatched yesterday. Holds up so good. This is a slasher movie, but it's not a gory slasher movie. It's more of a tension builder horror movie. So it is kind of slow in the first act, but if you stick with it, I think it really, really does satisfy that creepy. I don't know how you, if you're familiar with horror movies that take place in the snow, you have that merriment of Christmas trees and Christmas lights on top of sheer horror. That always works for me. Black Christmas is phenomenal. Definitely check it out. This amazing Scream Factory release, I finally got around to checking this out. There's some awesome commentaries and bonus features on this. If you have not picked this up, gotta love that. Alright, so the last one is one, it's not going to be a surprise. If you've seen the horror elements weaved throughout my numbers here, we have the greatest Christmas movie of all time. This one does get a lot of love, but you know what? It's because it fucking deserves it. Gremlins. Gremlins, baby. People who are just casual movie fans might forget that the original Gremlins is absolutely a Christmas movie. Did I mention Gremlins? And Gremlins? And Gremlins? Yes. I have a fondness for Gremlins. I think it's one of the greatest Christmas movies ever made. I think it's fun. And I think it does everything it needs to do. So if you have not revisited Gremlins, maybe you haven't watched it in 20 years. It's time. This Christmas, it's time to revisit Gremlins. And hey, you know it's on 4K now. There's no excuses. If you're like, oh, I don't like old movies. It's on fucking 4K and it's glorious. So please, check out these 5 movies this year. Don't wait. This year, while you're sitting around sipping hot cocoa, opening presents, pop on Gremlins. Pop on The Ref, Trapped in Paradise, Krampus, and of course, Black Christmas. Merry Christmas, you sons of bitches.